Chris and Kevin, I've returned for what is clearly the highlight of the entire Hallmark holiday season. This Three Wise Men and a Baby.
Welcome back, Mike. We missed your face. We missed your musk.
Oh, thanks.
You
can smell me.
Yeah.
Mike was left on our doorstep. We didn't know where Mike was, and we came home and he left.
I didn't. Yeah, I was. My parent couldn't take care of me. Oh, let me just hold on. Let me just take a dollop of Daisy.
Oh,
commercial.
That's our sponsor. Do a dollop. Do you play the titles?
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh
Yeah.
I love it. I've said this before. It reminds me of watching Batman, the 60s Batman, when Batgirl would drive by. That's you know it's a good episode.
Suffer for comedy. Just had a dollop of Daisy.
Did you? I was gonna ask, like, did you switch it out with like something else?
Nope.
Ice cream.
No, 100% pure. Look at that. You can see.
We watched you open it. I mean, you literally opened it.
It's not working. Yeah.
No,
man, that's a commitment to your art. Thank you.
To the bit, absolutely.
You're not going to believe this, Kevin. You start.
Awesome. Welcome to Remark. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Reagan.
I'm one of your other hosts, Kristin Finger, and this is
longtime producer, first time caller, Mike G. Back in the house. Was a little busy and missed the first month. October. That's but I feel like the real holiday season starts this week. November, Thanksgiving. I will try to be here for at least one of the films throughout the rest of the holiday season. Nice. Every other episode, you get the spinning wheel, Kevin. But this is important to do a full live episode. So we're going to be cutting to images live, cutting to GIFs live, or GIFs.
No.
GIFs?
No. It's GIF.
It's GIF. It's not the peanut butter. I should have had a peanut butter ready to go.
Yeah. Let's down that sour cream.
Yeah. And videos. Everything's happening live. So no edits, no cuts. Enjoy.
Did you notice in the opening, you could see the Brenner boys watching this show?
I saw that. I was going to note on the edition. Kevin is always adding in little Easter eggs.
Not always. Sometimes I totally forget to.
Oh, that's fine too. So the fun thing is someone on our Instagram, Twitter, or somewhere was like, you guys aren't going to be able to use the wheel for this one.
No.
And you're right.
There's
no way in heckin' hell we'd be able to just talk 7 minutes about this movie. It's our 3 favorite people. Are you kidding me?
We've interviewed every one of these people. So yeah, there was no way we were going to spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes.
Even the baby.
We interviewed
the
baby.
Yeah.
Which ironically is played by twin girls. Adorable.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, little trivia there.
Fun fact.
Like it. Well, we will be talking about everything Three Wise Men and a Baby in this episode, including a lot of the secondary players, if you will, the supporting cast and whatnot, because this was like such a love affair. And these are all people that we absolutely adore. And there was one person, I don't even know if Kristin knows who it was. We will get into that. So we did watch Three Wise Men and a Baby on Saturday, November 19th. I didn't remember if it was November or October, Mike, because I'm still
I think it's November now.
It's November. Yeah.
It is. No, we've made it.
Starring Andrew Walker from Maple Valley Christmas, where we've seen him most recently. Tyler Hynes from An Unexpected Christmas. Paul Campbell from the Santa Stakeout. This film was written by Paul Campbell, who has written An Unexpected Christmas and Christmas by Starlight, along with Kimberly Sustad, who wrote the story for Christmas by Starlight. Still with us?
Yes.
It was directed by Terry.
It's like 6 degrees, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's like Paul Rudd and Kimberly Sustad now, which is like,
Paul
yes,
Rudd?
please.
I will give Paul Campbell the Paul Rudd thumbs up. But I think you meant Paul Campbell, not Paul Rudd.
Who did I say?
Paul Rudd. I mean, literally, I just said Paul Rudd 5 times.
Who are you?
I'm doing my impression of Paul Campbell, who had a delicious Jameson when he was on our interview. You can watch that with Andrew Walker and Paul Campbell. This is not Jameson. I didn't have any, so this is just bourbon. So
Lame.
It is lame. This was directed by Terry Ingram, who directed the Wedding Veil trilogy.
Oh.
I like the Wedding Veil trilogy. I think Kristin liked it. I'm not sure Mike did, and I think that's why he went away for.
They suckered me in to continue past the holidays, and I had some mixed reviews. No, I think that just like you're mentioning with the multiverse, and we mentioned Paul Rudd here, and the Wedding Veil trilogy, this is another example of not characters within the verse, but at least actors like getting together and being like, let's have fun with the genre that we're known for, So, and Wedding Veil trilogy did that also.
Absolutely.
So the very quick plot to this, as Hallmark released it, 3 brothers get the surprise of their lives when they are forced to work together and care for a baby over the holidays, starring Paul Campbell, Tyler Hynes, Andrew Walker, and Margaret Colin. So I don't think I have Margaret Colin there until the very end.
That's okay. But just for folks that don't know, Margaret Colin starred in the film that this was sort of inspired from, 3 Men and a Baby. So I think like that was the biggest, like that was just, if this movie had 3,000 wins, that was 3,001 is getting she's just like, I think the boys, I'm going to refer to them as the boys, said this on our interview. The boys is basically like Margaret brought such a different voice to the lines, and they were like, it kept them on their toes. And you can really see it. She's so, because you can see some other people playing a mom, but she just played it just so honest and true. And I really, it elevated the whole film.
It definitely struck me as a single mother, a woman who brought up these 3 kids who were now adults. Some of them more difficult than others, but really on some level, all 3 of them difficult in their own right. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. That I think one of my favorite things was the element of how much each actor took on being either the youngest, middle, or oldest child, because those tropes were so delightful to watch. Like
it actually took a little. I thought it actually took a little while for you to realize who was the oldest or youngest. And I thought that was cool. Like they didn't just say it off the bat in a sentence. You kind of had to figure out like, oh yeah, like I wonder what their dynamic is like. They're all have their unique personalities, but who actually, and then you don't really find out until like towards the end, when
Or if you watched our interview with Andrew Walker and Paul Campbell, Paul actually laid that out. And spoiler.
Spoiler, we knew. Well, that's interesting because that's a fun take though, Mike. Like you didn't know their ages. We knew who was playing who, but it was like, again, you just figured it out sort of through it, which was really cool to see. And something else we saw. I don't know, Kev. Am I allowed to cue up?
It's the very first slide. Go ahead. Yeah. How's that?
Yeah.
Hey!
Should we blow this one up for the folks watching at home?
I think
there they go. Yeah.
Wow,
look at
wow,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
My cuckoo clock is actually going at the pictures.
Listen. Normally we got some Pavy Gravy shirtless in like a summer movie, but we normally don't get a shirtless bro in these movies. And if I would have known this was happening, I would have asked the boys if like Andrew, if they wrote in like Andrew was shirtless, or when they found out that Andrew was in such, I mean, he's always been in great shape, but I think he like got really into shape for this movie to play like the firefighter he was saying. So it's like, which came first, the shirtless idea or the shirt? You know what I mean? Like I need to know.
Which came first, not eating chocolate-covered pretzels all the time or the shirtless shot?
Yeah. I think it spoke to his character, as you learned. I am trying to justify the shirtless.
I love it because
that's what he was obsessed with, right?
Yeah.
That was his obsession, was staying in shape, like you know what I mean, taking care of himself.
I think his whole thing was image, like what you're projecting, not necessarily what's really going on, and it all bubbles over later.
Yeah, no, it completely made sense, but like I love all three of them. We got to learn through learning who they are that they lived with their mother. And I loved every individual way that we learned that they live with their mother. And Andrews was fantastic because he's like, seems like this dude that's like really put together and he's this and that. And then you hear Luke and it's like, coming, Mom. And it's like, the way they shot that was so funny. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. So then you have, I don't want to cut away from this picture. I know we all want to look at it for quite a while. He's giving himself his daily affirmation. Then we go to fun and games, which is where Taylor works. I love that Tyler is Taylor. That just
it's very confusing.
It makes me real happy. Yeah.
Because Paul and Kimberly knew that Tyler would be playing Taylor. And I feel like that's a joke in itself.
Oh, I definitely think so. I'm sure he's probably been, as he was coming up, not now, but he was probably called Taylor. And that's probably, I feel like there's a ton of inside jokes that are flying nonstop.
Yeah.
We meet who we only know as a coworker, Fiona, played by Ali. I think it's Liebert. You would remember from A Gift to Remember series, which takes place in not Philadelphia. I always love it. It's Philadelphia, but there's nothing Philadelphia about it. And it also features one of the greatest tropes in all. Now, my new favorite trope is magic cookies, but my old favorite trope is I forget what it's called. No, I don't. It's called Christmas amnesia. It's my favorite. Christmas amnesia. Awesome. But
this woman, Allie, is also the director of the new one that Jonathan Bennett is in. So I'm very excited to see. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So then we meet other people. We are offered cranberry fizzle pops by Kevin. Do we know who the actor was that played Kevin at Fun and Games by any chance?
Do you know? Or is this trivia?
Is this a trick question?
Okay, it's trivia.
I do know. Yeah. His name is.
Him?
No, we don't personally know him. I believe it's pronounced Gaither, his last name. His name is Chris Gaither. He was in a film called The Christmas House 2, Deck Them Halls, as Marvelous Jim, Kristin.
No!
That was Marvelous Jim.
Picture.
What?
I listen, Mike, I combed the internet and I went back over our old episode where we reviewed it. There is no, I think I took a picture of my TV so we could put it in that time.
Oh my gosh.
Marvelous Jim.
What a marvelous cameo then. I also love that character's name was Kevin because every time he did something, Tyler Hynes' character was like, yeah, thanks, Kev. And I was like,
at the end, they even said everyone hates Kevin. I
loved it.
Yeah, so they're releasing their new game, Limitless Horizon, which obviously Taylor, we find out very quickly, is a gamer, a programmer, but he's also very, probably used to getting his own way. So when he sees a snowman has been implemented into the advertising,
listen,
no good.
I hear this. Yeah. I wasn't even like, that's an overreaction, because I've worked on projects art-wise, and then someone throws in something that they think is cute or helpful, and it's like, that wasn't, so I felt for Taylor then.
I was on Taylor's side as well. Maybe it was just staring into Tyler's eyes that got me. But I thought that the office was a little harsh. Clearly, we didn't need the backstory. You know what I mean? But clearly there were some other things that had gone on. Maybe people were on Fiona's side with whatever happened with their relationship, and he clearly does this all the time. I just don't know if that particular specific scene they chose to put in or was he was so out of bounds. I thought that made total sense. Yeah.
I think he was just always a dick. So always not a team
player.
So
it's exactly. He didn't show up in costume. Everyone else was in a very, very expensive Spirit Halloween costume store. Christmas.
They borrowed them from a Dickens of a Holiday movie. They borrowed all the costumes.
I am seeing in my notes, I want to defend Kevin. It's not Kevin that they don't like. Kevin literally says to him when he says, "Who's coming with me?" And Kevin says, "No one likes you." So stop putting Kevin to the world. So then we meet our good friend PC playing Stefan.
Stefan.
My wife so, there's Allie there. There he is. So Stefan is a pet psychologist. There he is with a corgi. I felt this was kind of an advertisement for the Royal Corgi Christmas.
Look at him.
Love it. What a cute doggy.
I love a corgi.
Yeah, it's
also the joke of there were so many jokes of the night, but when he's when they're at the dinner table, which we haven't gotten to yet, but anyway. I can't not call him a pet detective. Like that was the best bit ever.
So great. Yeah.
That was the joke when I knew where we were going. And up until that point, it was a lot of setup stuff that they had to do.
Yeah.
And they were having fun, and it was a funny movie. But that's when I was like, this is a jokey movie. This is like an inside jokey movie.
Yeah. And it's great because I dated a dude that was the youngest of 3 boys. And I started seeing natural things that do happen when you have, because I only have 1 sibling and 3 stepsisters, but the 3 stepsisters and I never grew up together. So there was no like middle, I don't know. But again, they did, that's your trolley horn.
I didn't mute it in time. I thought I did.
It's fine. I like it. It adds ambiance.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is this is such a different type of character for Paul Campbell because he's always sort of playing a little bit looser and a little bit, obviously always quirky and silly, which is so delightful. But this was such a tightly wound quirky dude that it was like really refreshing and really fun to watch.
Yeah, because even in Christmas by Starlight, his character is a little bit more straight-laced than what we typically see, but he's fun and loose and immediately loosens up. He never truly loosens up, which I love that too. Because like the reality was going to be, how is this guy going to change who he is? And he's not. Like he's still
none of them really did.
Yeah. I would say Taylor kind of did. I do feel
he was.
That's at the end. We're jumping so far. But so we had Luke was also Mr. January, they called him. I was gonna make a picture of Mr. January, but I just was like, you know what? I'll make one in my spare time and send it to Kristin. It does the job.
Thank you.
You got it. That's your Christmas present.
Thank you.
Yep.
If you got Andrew, Paul, and Tyler to really make Kristin a calendar.
Well, listen, you can at least get one of those months when you're at Christmas Con in December.
I can.
Then we see Taylor playing online games in the basement with kids, and that was awesome and spoke so well to that character. Like, this is who he is.
Yeah.
He's like giving some advice, but also kind of just crapping on these kids.
Yeah. And that's what, oh my God. And that's, again, that was another brilliant reveal that this grown-up man lives in his mother's basement.
Yes.
When his mom calls him and we're still like, okay, like that's sweet that she's checking in on him. And then he's like, hang on. He's like, this isn't working. Hangs it up and literally just yells, bah!
Yeah, it was so great.
All the reveals were so good because then they sit down for dinner and Paul Campbell's character, Stefan, and I love that Tyler's character knew exactly what Stefan was going to say when he walked in, like, oh, just in time for dinner.
What are the chances?
What are the chances?
Yeah.
So good.
And then he lives in the backyard. Mm-hmm. So we also, in between that moment, we get another character we're introduced to, which is Mark Leclerc, played by Matt Hamilton. Matt Hamilton is in tons of stuff with all of these guys. He is awesome. He is also one of those people, if you don't follow him on social media, you really should, because he responds to everything.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy, and he has the nicest looking eyes I have ever seen. Every time you see him. Yeah, we're not doing H3O right now, but if we were
on there,
he's
that's so nice.
High number.
That character, this knocked it out of the park. What a douche, but I loved
everything he said. Yeah.
Oh my God, when he's like, first of all, we get to meet him because Tyler's walking home, and I love that also. Like Tyler's character doesn't have a car, but they clearly live in the suburbs, so I didn't. I loved that choice.
Yeah.
But like he walks by and he's like, what'd that car come with? He's like, a snowmobile.
Yeah, he was such a pro. Yeah, Mark Clark. What a great name.
Mark Clark. Ugh.
Then I think more importantly than just the added idiosyncrasies and the feuding between the brothers, we really get to witness who their mother is and what she is like. And she probably, not that it's a lost cause, she did clearly an amazing. None of these guys are in prison. It's important to know. So she did a great job raising them, but at the same time, they are their own people, and they are, they butt heads. They're still brothers. There's still a degree of competition that they have, and different though than what we saw again in A Christmas House, where the competition between those brothers seemed a little different. It was more just about the performative aspect of Christmas. For these guys, it's like everything across the board.
No, and I think that goes to sort of what we'll unpack later is that car crying scene, because that really revealed, like, once their dad left, like abandoned dad alert, they really had to, but they all became a different person almost because of that absence. And as someone that also lost a parent when I was younger in a very different way, I became a very different than what I probably as a kid assumed I like the role I played. And then the role my brother had to play completely changed too. So it's like you just adjust to your circumstances. And sometimes that's for the positive. And in some of these cases for, you know, they took it to the negative a little bit. But like that's why I really liked this story is they all became not this way, but they were all genuinely good people, but they also, they had to adapt really quickly. And the aftermath of their adaptation was these little like annoyances and stuff. So then they started not getting along because they did get along before, the mom said.
I think that, you know, you pointing that out too, Chris, the idea that their dad didn't die. Like they could have easily done the dead dad alert. It would have been, I know we were watching. That would have been
very different. Their behavior different.
And but instead he abandoned them. And then that plays so heavily into when Thomas comes in, which we're just about at that point. I mean, we could talk about the argument at the table, D&D versus
baby.
But here's Thomas, who is left on Luke's doorstep. And now we have the
firehouse, which is important, not on their family list.
Right. Yeah. Because we presume this person doesn't know any other way to get a hold of Luke, and we'll find out later. But the big question is this Luke's kid, which I thought was awesome. And again, something that you're not getting in a Hallmark film 10 years ago. Yeah. Where you have Margaret Colin is sitting there with Andrew Walker and saying, "Are you sure?" Like, but not in a way of like, it was like, I really want this kid to be like in our ecosystem here.
But I also just love that, like, because at the firehouse they did it, you could see almost Andrew's character doing the math of like the last person he may have slept with to figure out if, like, and then by the time he got home, I think he did all the math and then figured out, no, I haven't slept with somebody in like 9 months or whatever.
He said the sentence, "It can't be mine," as if like, again, he has not been with someone for many.
Been getting busy is what he was basically saying.
But the other thought is that that's not that character's persuasion. You know, so I thought that at one point.
I did think that's where it was going as well, Kevin. They didn't quite.
So
that would have been lovely too.
So now here we have the baby, and of course the catchphrase that comes up very quickly, "Do it for baby," is so good. If you want to do a drinking game, if you rewatch this movie, go easy on this one. But every time they say "do it for baby," maybe take a little drink, not a full shot, because you might die. They say it quite a bit.
Anytime Paul Campbell smirks at an improvised moment by Tyler, drink, because that happens quite a few times.
It really does.
I thought it was enjoyable always.
Which Paul spoke to, because he says that he laughed the most when Tyler took his pauses and the patience and the improvised moments. Like, what a joy to work on, like probably off of.
So all those moments at the kitchen table while they're eating dinner, those were some of the moments Paul was talking about that Tyler took forever to deliver his lines after eating food, and to the point, and you can see that it's kind of like, come on, we can't end this scene yet. And it's very, very funny. This is I think we'll say it over and over. This is a very rewatchable film.
Oh, I just watched, I've already watched it 3 times.
I love it. This was a full weekend, so I knew I couldn't do it again yet. But then we have Aunt Louise fall, which was great because it takes Mom out of the whole.
Which was great.
It was, well, no, she's fine.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Spoiler: Aunt Louise is at the end of the movie, and she's totally fine.
She's fine.
There's something. Excuse me. There's something really cool about. They're gonna look. These 3 guys probably rely even now. They live at home. They probably rely heavily on their mom. Who does their laundry? Come on.
Well, they say that later, where they're like, "Mom does everything for us. She cooks for us. She cleans for us." And Tyler says, and does our laundry, and they both look at her, and he's like, not all the time, just sometimes.
And listen, I think she does all their laundry from time to time. Irons, sure, you know.
Yeah.
The fact that she is removed from the equation in a kind of positive way, because Louise is fine, and then a snowstorm comes, so she's not going to get back. So now these three guys have to take care of this child. They have to figure out a way to work together and take care of this child, which is the most daunting thing.
The literally perfectly written device of showing each one singly working with this baby was so brilliant of a tool. Look at the work. His was obviously my favorite of watching this, like, just immature gamer, like the whole conversation where he's like, how's it going being a baby?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, and then the fact when he realizes, and the way Tyler almost becomes Dirks in this scene when he's like, you game? You a gamer? Like, just the way he's having a conversation with this baby is so good.
He's got beer bottles and Chinese food on the table when he goes, you want something to eat? And he looks around like, oh, he's not going to pick up Chinese food, right? Yeah.
But I just love that that whole journey for him, because, again, he doesn't have a car. So he has to call this Uber, which is not going to come for 20 minutes because they live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is this how this man gets around all the time?
He's, I'm not going to say it on camera, Kristin. We know a gentleman who this reminds me so much of, and we'll talk about it later. But this, there is a moment too, right as mom leaves, which is she says, "What happens to one of us happens to all of us," and that becomes the through line for this movie. You know, it really does become these guys get very absorbed in their own issues and problems until a bigger problem presents itself. So, as Mike's got this picture up here, obviously Taylor goes to the supermarket. He has already spilled all of the baby's food. That's so great. This is true. This is true. Look, man, they have too many options. Yeah. And your parents have no freaking clue what to buy. And you're like,
I would have no idea. I've never even walked down those aisles in my grocery store because I know I don't need anything down there. So it would be like discovering a whole new world if I walked down that aisle.
And then you rely on the help of people. Because I can remember talking to like older, like people who I didn't want to assume they had kids, but like they were around, and I was like, and then you're even asking like, 16-year-old like clerks who assume don't have kids.
I don't want to ask this person.
This one sell? Is this a big one?
But
and then you just give them sour cream. You end up just giving them Daisy sour cream and going, you know what?
Mike has been spoon-fed sour cream his whole life, and look at him. Look at his beard.
It goes right to the beard. Yeah.
Shape and volume.
Shape and volume.
Daisy,
not a sponsor.
Going back to, well, maybe they could sponsor us.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
If I think also Paul was referring to some of the moments when he was talking to Taylor, like in that scene where he's like, "Oh my God, you look like a troll." Like when he's just sitting there and he's like, "I've been this," like Tyler's patience.
Yeah. Because
some other actor may have taken that and used the lines to show like their frustration in such a heated, fast way.
Yeah.
Right? That may have been like the go-to of someone else, but the patience.
It's all internal. It's
all just the way he stood up and everything just dropped off of him. And under his breath, he's like, he eats every 7 minutes. Like that whole delivery of everything was so, I don't know. Does anyone know that I really like Tyler Hynes?
No, but I'm figuring that out. We do explore.
Comment below if you are realizing that Chris loves
If this
Tyler
is
Hynes.
new information.
Yes. Yeah. You can email Chris at remarktheshow@gmail.com and say, do you like Tyler Hynes?
Do you like Tyler
Hynes? We also meet a potential love interest for PC for Stefan's.
What? There's other characters.
There's other characters.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to them.
So I will inevitably call her Fiona because her real name is Fiona Vroom. She is amazing. She was in Nantucket Noel, Kristin. She played Harriet along with Daniel Bacon. They were the weird, like
they were the like actor, like
yes.
right? Yeah.
Like,
oh, I recognized her right away.
We were hot and cold on Nantucket Noel, but the two of them were like this, more or less. Yeah. So yes, she plays this kind of character, like a side character. Give her a film, by the way. She plays that character often, and she does it so well. Immediately you love her. You know, her name is Susie. She has a company called
So Sue Me.
So Sue Me, because she's a seamstress, so it's So Sue Me. And the reaction that Paul Campbell or Stefan has in that moment where he's like, oh, I was just like,
I wasn't gonna
what a boob.
I
love it.
What a boob.
He's
but
so
like
great.
you know from the moment, the get-go, that she met this guy at a park, liked the guy, and invited him over to her house because she liked him. There was nothing wrong with her dog.
She didn't have a dog. She ran out and stole one.
She stole that dog because she was like, my dog is lonely. She's just talking about herself, obviously, the entire time. And he does not pick up on this whatsoever.
Not at all.
And it's delightful, this relationship. Oh.
But he also, you know, in the park, you know, the picture of him holding the corgi, he had run into a gentleman who wanted him to speak at this event. He ran away in the most embarrassing way possible.
The way he plopped that corgi down in that snow, I've watched it 3 times in the last 3 days, and I'm like, be gentle with the corgi.
Yeah, don't do the corgi plops. That's not cool, man. But,
he seemed like the baby felt very natural, as if like it was almost one of their babies, like how great they were acting. The dog, he clearly Paul,
and he's an animal psychologist.
I hope that it was again like a crew dog or something.
Yeah. Whose dog is a really dog?
Yeah.
He like plopped it in a pile of snow. I was like, what the heck's happening?
Even when he was walking what was her dog? Like what do you call that breed?
The Shih Tzu style dog.
Yeah, when they were walking that dog, there was just some funny, clear not dog owner. Going on there.
So then we see Stefan and Taylor spending a lot of time with Thomas, bathing Tom. That was awesome, by the way.
Very cute, very cute.
Yep. Trying to put together all of this is like anybody, whether you're the kid or not.
Listen, like, leave that one up. For some reason, that picture turns me on. I don't.
Yeah, he knew he was posing. He knew he was
doing this. Like he was like, the hoes are gonna love this. Like,
did you say the hose?
No.
You have to still say Hynes. If you say Hynes ho, it doesn't sound as bad.
The Hynes are gonna love this.
There we go.
I'm gonna put my leg up. And then I'm going to put something in my mouth because I always have to.
I have another picture I'm going to send you. Chris, I think I'm going to end up making you a calendar. I will do 12 different months. This, I'm going to Photoshop him on like a pirate ship, and we'll just turn that into a knife. This looks like a pirate who's either about to take over a ship or he's just trying to rally the troops to take over a ship.
That's great. I thought you were going to say, I'm going to Photoshop him on top of you. And I was like, Kevin, this spicy stuff.
Now, what month would that calendar be? That's not no.
Now, remember, there are other characters in this film.
What?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Two people in this scene.
I will say, I am equally. God, I loved all of them. I can't stop.
There you go.
I do think around here is where it is at least mentioned at some point that their father is not there because he left. It was we now know he didn't die, but he left. So
and it's something that they don't talk about.
They do, and they even address that and say we don't talk about this. And it just kind of goes away, and it's like now it's in all of our heads, and we're like, okay, this helps kind of identify the behavior. This exact moment here, which I think you have a GIF, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. It's a very and there it is.
Lunges.
There's no way there's no way that was planned. I feel like
I don't think so.
I don't even know if the handhold was planned. It's so good.
Right. I think
he smirks like his hardest here, Paul Campbell, in the entire movie.
I think he probably made that choice and then realized, crap, I have to keep doing this every
Let's show it
take.
again. You guys can keep talking.
Yeah, look at Paul's face.
Yeah. Yes. He's like, I have lines. So this is also the moment where Luke, Andrew Walker. Now I'm going to say Luke, the character. I give Kristin a hard time to not. Sometimes we ask our good friend Drew questions offline, and it's like, I don't want to take advantage. He's a really good dude. He's been an awesome sport, but I really need to know how he says the word GIF. Because the character says GIF.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of the cat memes.
Would it be appropriate? I can text him that right now to let him know we're recording this and need to know how Andrew Walker, says GIF or GIF.
It's a work thing.
I thought Tyler was flexing just a little bit ago, but Chris is flexing the digits right now. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, don't hold that up. I don't.
No.
So, yeah, it was awesome because I loved watching Twitter blow up. Not the way Twitter's been blowing up, which is garbage, but like it was so funny to watch people start talking about A, it was an insult to cat memes. B, it was in many of our minds a mispronunciation of the word GIF or GIF. See, this is I'm very much into my Stefan. It was very funny. We also had as we were kind of going through that montage with Taylor and Stefan, we had baby's first ornament. Do it for baby. So we make baby's first ornament, which will come back into play. And Mark Leclerc also calls them ding dongs at one point. So again,
Mark was great. Every scene that he entered, I was like, this needs to be the sequel right here as something happens to Mark Leclerc.
Yes.
And it was handled, and we'll talk about his fate at the end, but it was handled perfectly because
wasn't too much, wasn't over the top.
And you also don't want villains like this. The whole point of this wasn't that if there's a villain, the villain's the absent person, which is the father. Sure. Because the father left and didn't come back. It wasn't a matter of, and we'll kind of get to the, what happened in Thomas's world. But so again, we drive home the fact that Stefan is afraid of people. Susie picks up on this now. And when they're out and about again, she runs interference for him when he runs into other people.
Very sweet.
And that's where it's like.
His little face, Paul's little sweet face when she does that, like, is, oh my God, he's such a charmer. I love him.
I thought it was a really nice handling of a mental thing, you know what I mean, that people go through, you know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't even say like whatever, like that people are uncomfortable in situations with large groups of folks. And it was so interesting that it tied into, again, what happens later when they talk about how each one handled their father leaving. And Stefan's response was to go lock himself in the room. And because of that is why he has this anxiety, you know what I mean now. But it didn't become a malady throughout the whole picture, the whole movie, you know what I mean? I thought it was just handled nicely and taken care of nicely by Susie, and we were like, oh yeah, it's totally fine that people react this way.
But she's his advocate, like right away, like he's got this advocate, whether he realizes or not, and he's a little thick. It takes him a little. He's
very
time.
thick. A little thick. He's very.
He should have said at this point. He should have said, "I don't do people." That's a throwback Ace Ventura line for anybody.
That would have been Paul, missed opportunity.
It was in there, but they had to cut. They had to cut for time. They had some awesome Hill ads they had to run. Yeah. Taylor is compared to being a brick in a washing machine, which I just feel like is the perfect description of this character as well as Dirk's. So
a brick in a washing machine. Is it a washing machine or is it? Yeah, because not a dryer. Yeah. A washing machine.
Yeah.
Man.
We also see how cool and collected Luke is, and this again is kind of the throwback to Tom Selleck in. Oh, look at that move!
Look at his moves.
So good. It's the throwback to Tom Selleck in 3 Men and a Baby. Ted Danson and Steve Guttenberg have a really hard time, and then Tom Selleck comes in. He's the professional. He's the one who, and then he just has a way, and it's like, you have it all figured out.
Yeah.
On the surface. Yeah, I baked cookies. Yeah, the baby's been burped, bottled, and...
Listen, did anyone else listen? All I heard was the boys, hey boys, from Letterkenny, just saying that, like, burped, bottled, and baked, boys. Like, it was a Canadian, you only could say it that one way.
Yes, yeah, you posted that. It was funny. Mike, I don't know if you were posting with us, but watching Chris and I. It's one of those like Russian roulette things where, especially the Ace Ventura line, I knew it was coming.
We both did it.
It was almost the exact same GIF, and I was like, whatever. I'm not doing it. Somebody's just like, I think there's a lot of drinking going on at Remark.
Remember, like a year ago, we were like, let's put our initials on the end, and then we were like,
I know,
that takes up too many. Listen, I got 144 every time. I can't be doing that. So it seems Luke has it all figured out, and then he makes the cardinal mistake of all babydom. He grabs the wrong damn baby when they're out and about. Leading to this.
Listen, if I get this printed as a poster, do you think my husband would let me hang it up above our bed?
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either. I thought this was delightful because, again, we need to see everyone's flaws, right? Yeah. And his was his pride once again because he was judging someone else.
Yeah.
And saying they really need to look after their kids. And in that moment, his pride made him mess up. And I loved that. And it just, oh my God, this moment was what Paul was telling us, where it took Tyler 3 years to walk over and then finally whisper in his ear, "That's not ours."
And once again, drink, everybody, because Paul Campbell is on the verge. You can see the smirk starting to form.
I think he's biting his tongue.
It is. He was. That was the second most almost laughing.
Yeah.
We probably did, and they cut it out, but he was.
Oh my God! I think he said he probably they had to not focus on Tyler a lot of the times, which is great.
I also like, again, he's a firefighter. He knows the police, so they get it handled. The police, and he says to the police officer, "I'm sure this happens all the time." She's like, "No."
This was also the only thing that I loved. I think who sold it was, oh my gosh, the actor who played the mom. What was her name again?
Margaret Colin.
Margaret Colin. Yeah. Just her earnestness of like, yeah, this is fine. Let's take care of this baby, and we'll see what happens in 5 days.
Yeah.
Because this was another moment where I was like, the police were like, oh yeah, this is her baby, but didn't check his like no credentials at all. They just were like, this must be the opposite baby.
That's funny you say that. Like, we're a little far away from that, but when we get to the hospital, we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, there's still like insurance questions that I have about this baby.
Yeah. Oh,
should we show the wrong baby? Because the wrong baby moment.
Oh my God, the wrong baby.
Yeah,
I need to be.
Good.
Look, I need to be at the casting for wrong babies. Like, can I be on the other side of this table of being like, that's the wrong baby?
Laughed out loud during this one.
This was a moment they could have done stunt casting, because if that was Ryan Pavey in there, I would have been like, yeah, I'm down.
I'm down.
So
my wife and I watched this together, and we legitimately laughed like it was a comedy and not just like not a bad, but like a cliche Hallmark movie.
Watching The Hangover. You're laughing at these like people doing dumb stuff. Like,
very good comparison. It was very hangover-y mixed with Hallmark movie for sure.
Yeah. That's kind of what I kept thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
So now we have the brothers come together for mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So they do kind of connect, and this is great because it gives us some levity. They go to this like Christmas bazaar. This I don't think we were recording. We were talking about it. Tyler Hynes, and I'm going to say Tyler Hynes because I don't feel this is Taylor.
I don't feel this was
takes the candy cane off the decoration, starts to eat it, and grabs another one and hands it across to Andrew Walker, not Luke. And Andrew Walker, who is in top physical shapes, like, I can't eat that sugar, dude. And he goes, no. And Paul Campbell, the writer, kicks in and he goes, well, I can add one more joke into this. Let me go to grab it. And Tyler Hynes pulls it away and puts it back. And I was like, everything that just happened here.
I laughed so amazing. That had to have been the first take of that. And I hope it was because oh my God.
It's, maybe we lean on Paul Campbell too. Was that in the script? Because it does feel like in a 15-day shoot, that did not feel like something that you're going to work and work and work. It did feel like it happened, and like, I like it. Leave it in there.
Because I don't 100%. Feel like those were decorations, and I don't feel like, okay, well, we're going to have him grab this candy cane, so put candy canes up. No, God, I love improv. That's why improv is so cool.
The photo that's up is from Time for Him, I think it is. Time for Him for Christmas. So,
he's doing it again.
Funny. I
those
thought
candy
I would have
canes.
swore this was the same movie. That's really
No,
funny.
he's doing
Yeah.
it again. Also,
So this is the
Tyler,
real one.
if you
Real one.
need any candy canes,
Got it covered.
I've got you covered, buddy.
Kristin, I recall following your journey.
Look, he's looking at you. He's looking at you.
Pickles. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, give me
Hi.
those candy canes.
You love
Give me
them.
those- give me that
Kristin
candy.
accidentally ordered like a 5-gallon bucket of pickles once, and we all followed the journey online with her. It was amazing. And I feel like that's what happened with this candy cane.
No, this was on purpose. If you come see Hallmarkable starting this Friday at 8 o'clock at CSC Philadelphia, you will get a free candy cane.
Y'all, we're not using the wheel. We don't have time for plugs for sure.
All right. We'll do it in the next episode. We'll do it.
Yeah. Come on.
So they're going to do this stuff for mom. They still say for baby.
Yeah.
And then this is where this is actually important to to Taylor as the character, because one of the things that they go to do is ice skate, and he sees Fiona there. They talk. She doesn't have gloves, and he gives her his gloves, but it wasn't in any way performative. It was just like a person looking out for a friend and being like, well, here, take my gloves.
Yeah.
And it was really nice and not that character. It was almost like we literally got to witness a moment in which that character grows.
I loved it.
You okay?
He made Mittens sexy. I don't know.
Listen, Mittens.
Also, what a hardcore ice rink that's like no mittens, no skating,
no dice.
No, I don't blame him.
It's too cold out here on the ice.
No skating.
Also, what a small ice skating rink. It was like the size of a table. And they didn't skate. And there's video of them skating because Paul Campbell.
There's video of them skating so that, I'm going to buy this DVD just because I hope they release all this footage on it.
Yeah. I hope they do a commentary, man.
Oh man. Well, if we were going to Chicago's Roma drama,
I know they're doing it live.
They're doing it live, yeah.
So then we get the moment. Again, they're doing it for their mom, but we get the moment that was like why so many people were tuning into this and so excited for this, where they dressed up in their elf
my god!
And like these 3 hunky dudes, come on.
Like it's the most cool thing ever. If I'm gonna start going to my mall Santas just in case that happens.
You never know. More likely it'll just be the smell of like bourbon and broken candy canes. But do you, man?
Oh my god!
There they are with Santa posing.
Oh my god!
Baby.
That was awesome. Where they did that black and white. I loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
Kevin, can you put that picture in my calendar?
Yep.
Can that be May? Just for
this was another moment. This was my second moment, probably after Ace Ventura, where I was like, "This is ridiculous." I was almost. I even when I turned to my wife, I was like, "Wait, why did they get the costumes again? Oh, just to like take a picture." And it didn't matter at all, but it was so fun that it was great. You know what I mean? Like it just had nothing to do with anything other than somebody had those costumes and they're like, "Oh, we should shoot a whole scene.
We should do this."
Super cool.
Listen, somebody had them, and the 3 of us. That's our Halloween costume. So yeah. Get ready.
Here's something that I did like about that moment, because this was middle child syndrome 101.
Yeah.
Stefan goes on this remember when, and starts telling this huge story, and both of them just walk away from him.
Yeah.
And that's when they get the costumes.
Yeah.
But it's the most middle child, he's finally opening up and sharing, and both the others are like, they just walk away from him.
Middle children share more than you think they do. It is true, though. People don't listen to us. So then we get the tree scene where they're going to decorate for mom, for baby, for mom. They're going to decorate the house. They're going to decorate the tree. And we also get medieval Tyler here, which I'm pretty sure I sent you that, right?
Oh,
yeah, no, you did. We have a nice picture with there's the boys again.
Oh, look at those boys.
Yeah.
That's May. That's the one.
And then there's the baby. There's the baby. But yeah, we do have another great gift here. Medieval Christmas.
First of all, that helmet, I'm fairly certain is from the dollar store. Everything else looks a little bit more sophisticated, but I remember having that helmet.
Oh my god. But
that picture of the baby.
Of course he had all that. Someone's like, all right, let's decorate. And it's like, if I went up to my room right now, I would just bring down a bunch of Marvel stuff. I'd have a Captain America shield. I'd have, you know what I mean? I loved that it was
That's what he's into. Yeah.
Yeah.
He LARPs.
He LARPs.
I like to think Tyler Hynes is a LARPer. Like, if you go out into a field with a bunch of kids with foam swords, if you didn't watch when we reviewed Hawkeye, the series last Christmas, you can go back and do it. It's still available here on our YouTube page. But there are LARPers there. It is the life. I love it. I've never LARPed. I would. I do role play. Is this my plug? Although role play just
we don't have
it's funny that you mention. Well, it's funny that you mention Hawkeye. So yeah, go back and watch the episode where they do LARPing, and if you're a Marvel fan, boom. I thought that if Tyler Hynes showed up to a LARPing thing just like Hawkeye did, he would begrudgingly like participate. Like he would be like, "All right, fine," but sort of like annoyed the whole time, but then like kicking everybody's butt. I love it.
And then ultimately losing.
From him dressed like that gave such a lovely segue because he goes out because the gorgeous blonde Allie is returning his sexy mittens, and he's dressed like this, but it's not out of the normal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's not dressed like this. It's more like
there
it is with the swords.
Yeah.
I
can't.
If you post this on Twitter and say, new Walking Dead episode, it will get traction. People are like, whoa, what's happening in The Walking Dead this week?
But so I love this moment where he goes out and invites like both girls in the house. And that was because we'd missed the bit that Paul Campbell's character did where he's like, a pine, crap. I meant to memorize it.
Watched it 4 times.
I know, 3. But Taylor does it, and the girl's like, "Well, that's clever." And Paul's face in that moment of like, "Well,
that's mine,"
and doesn't explain that he was the one that came up. Like that is the most younger brother or younger sibling thing to do to your older sibling. Like, is just steal all of their ideas. Which, because I thought my brother was the coolest, so whatever my brother did, I was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm cool too." It was very sweet.
Well, speaking of the coolest. Listen, we've talked about this before. It's why we ask you to subscribe and like and share these. We do not monetize this page. We have never done this for money. We will never make money. And if we did, we would be demonetized for what we're about to do. But there's no earthly way I would not play this.
Oh, it might be under 29 seconds. Hopefully,
we might be okay.
Perfect. Good.
We're all good.
This was the moment that blew up Twitter when all of the Hynes and Remarkers and Hallmarkers were watching.
Oh, good.
That was the moment that Stefan broke from his like. It was like, come on, his moves. I would argue he had the best moves.
Really good stuff. All of them really good stuff. As someone that used to teach dance, I appreciated all. Most of them had full extension and very nice lunges and good facial expressions.
Yep. Commit to the bit, and they all
to the bit.
I like how too they clearly like had just probably a basic, because they dance a second time, spoiler, to just a more basic version of the song. But this one they were like in 80 afterwards in sound, they're like, let's do the techno version. Let's add that in.
So then we have Luke at the firehouse runs into Adam. Now we know that Luke has this event that's coming up that's benefiting the firehouse. We also know that there is a firefighter who has died a couple years before. He's got a plaque on the wall. If you know who that is, because I'm certain it's someone. I actually wondered if it was Terry Ingram, the director. I didn't find out who it was, but if you know, you can let us know in the comments down below, or you can email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. I would personally just like to know that. Listen, I told you Marvelous Jim was in this. Hook me up with something. But he meets this young gentleman named Adam, which is that firefighter's son. And when he connects it and realizes this is Adam, Luke takes the time and ultimately spends what seems to be the whole day with him, even though he was supposed to get together with his brothers so that they could do this decorating contest to go against Mark Leclerc. So he never shows up. And in his brother's minds, he lets them down. This is that one storytelling device that you need. It's necessary in all stories where you don't allow a person to actually explain, even when they apologize, what happened.
Right.
That's necessary. And obviously it works here because the brothers are pissed because they've been taking care of the baby all day. It was supposed to be a joint thing. And here you are, you selfish prick. You didn't come back. He said, oh yeah, I was hanging out with a kid whose dad died, they might be like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But instead, we get a sweet half Nelson on Taylor. Tyler Hynes flailing and knocks over mom's favorite snowman. Smashing it.
Sad.
Also, I don't want to be weird, but like when they lifted him up,
His shirt came up.
his shirt came up.
I know. It did. Yeah.
It's
You
just,
can-
listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Any shape, size. If a little bit of somebody's shirt comes up, I'm looking. I'm sneaking a peek.
I'm checking out. I'm like a dermatologist aficionado. I'm like, skin looking okay? Are we all right?
But I don't know what that thing is called that like everyone loved Brad Pitt's in Fight Club.
Yeah, the V.
What is that? The V. Yeah.
It's coming off of the 6-pack going into an 8-pack. Yeah. Tyler Hynes is in great shape, is what we're saying. He's in great shape.
Primo.
So this is chaos. It throws the alliance the brothers have made out completely out of balance. We also find out in that moment that Luke kind of resents the fact that he raised them. Like he helped his mom and he did a lot for these guys and he's always there. So this is where that perfection that we've seen through the whole movie kind of rips open and you see the pain and the hurt that's still there. Yeah. And we just assume he's putting on the best face. I mean, it's a pretty good face and great shape, but he's putting all that on, even though the guy is still hurting and in pain. And he probably doesn't want to thank you, but he definitely doesn't want to be beat upon on something that's like he's done an awful lot for the two of them.
Yeah. And I think he says it later in the car. He you know, I do everything for everyone else. And I think I started resenting it at some point. Yeah. Which is,
They all go their separate ways at this point, which is weird because it feels like Stefan and Taylor were not necessarily butting heads there, but regardless.
No, I think Stefan was a typical middle child of like, no, don't. Everyone's. It's like it was the younger and older. Yeah.
He got mad at both of them for the way they reacted to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was his annoyance with like them both being snippy in their own ways.
Yeah.
You know. So
yeah.
So then Stefan sees a rash on the baby, which is like, listen, man, if you're a person with a child, if you're a person without a child, you know, bless you. If you're a person with a child, bless you. They're all hard. There is something about that moment where you see something that and he even said, what did I do? That it is like this weird, oh my God, I broke this human being and I'm not, fit for this. At that moment, Taylor is kind of coming into his own with Fiona and apologizing. And then he gets the text from Stefan and he's like, I gotta go, which seems like old Taylor who leaves. And then I think that they're auctioning off hot dudes.
They're auctioning off hot dudes. And I like, hello, yes, thank you.
And so Luke is being auctioned off. He was actually given like a plaque and he's about to make a speech. He gets the phone call, which is more than the text. And he sees something is wrong and he's like, I have to go. And they all converge on the hospital because something is wrong with this baby that they've all fallen madly in love with. And it was in that moment I said to my wife, it's gonna be Sustad, and she walked out holding the baby, and I've never been more proud of myself, guys.
I'm proud of you. That was an amazing, brilliant cameo.
Yeah.
Well done. I love her. She's definitely one of my favorite ladies because we all know how Kristin and Kevin feel about 9 Lives of Christmas. Like,
love it.
Come on, it's so good. And
can I ask, is Agent Coulson's tail over your microphone right now?
Check your microphone. Yeah. I think your kitty. Yeah. I think your kitty was in there.
I'm going to blame the cat 100% on that one. Is that better?
Yes. You were saying, yes, we love.
He's literally right.
Yeah. He needs to be in this.
But yeah, I love that they put her in it and they were kitschy about it because she was like, oh, 3 men and a baby, you can't even write this stuff. Like, hey. I love
Yeah.
Because even earlier, we forgot to mention that Paul says it's turning out to be an unexpected Christmas.
Yeah, I was waiting
They
if
were
he was going to
just
say,
poking things left and
it's a
right.
Christmas by Starlight. I was waiting for all of them. Yeah. Yes. And in that moment, she even says, who's the father? Or whose is this? And they all go, oh, we're just watching it for him for a friend. And it's like,
They stole that baby.
We'll be like, what the hell is this?
Like, you stole this baby.
So then the brothers truly do come together, and we get this awesome car scene, which is
Oh God.
yes, it's the three of them, and it is listen, man, I've stayed dry-faced through all these movies so far this holiday season, but man, that one was hard.
That was hard. It's also just like, I know this shouldn't be a thing, but like there's, for some reason, when I see certain people cry, it makes me more upset. Does that make sense? So like in this case, we're used to seeing these boys just like being
stoic is the word.
Yeah. But when you actually see, like, if I see my mom cry, forget it. I'm done.
Yeah.
If I see my brother cry, forget it.
Yeah.
Like it was the first time I'd seen these boys like cry and emote so beautifully. It was written beautifully. I just thought it was really, really nice.
Yes.
And it wasn't overdone. I've had that conversation with my brother, to be honest, of like, I'm sorry you had to become my dad and my older brother, and I treated you like both. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've had that conversation with family members because of our loss, and like because I bitched about how I had to step up and not be the one that was in trouble all the time. So my mom didn't have two kids that were in trouble all the time. Yeah. So it's just like, I really felt deep in that card. Oh, I thought it was great. Oscar goes to all three of you.
Taylor specifically saying that you were basically like our father. It is. It's a very hard moment, and it was great, man. It was like, that's the kind of the crux of what this film was. And at that point, these three brothers, it truly is the Three Musketeers, all for one for all. It happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. And that's what this moment is, where they truly do come together. You also can look at the time and go, well, everything's going to be fine now because, where are you going to go from here? So,
well, did anyone else feel slightly let down when they all brought their hands in and someone didn't just put the baby's hand in too?
Yeah.
At that point, why not?
Thought that,
Marvel.
Like, Tyler would grab the baby.
Yeah.
This little baby hand comes in.
You wanted a Guardians of the Galaxy situation. So, so then the brothers, now let's go kick Mark Leclerc's butt. And they have this amazing setup. They're going to do this three wise men thing. The news is there. They show Mark Leclerc's place. It's awesome. A fire truck comes in all of a sudden. And then, boom, here's the Brenner boys and their awesome display. But right before they do it, Stefan is questioning whether he wants to do this. And they say, I want to find it. They actually say, we do it together or not at all. And I love that, because it is that idea of, look, we'll turn around and walk away from this. And that's also where we talk about the MCU, we talk about the HCU, and the I Love You 3000. We got an I love you 2, I love you 3. And it was nice. It was really nice.
Also, Tyler's patience once again came into play, because there was the moment where they're like, we're not doing this, and they're all facing the same way. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like the Captain America shield just shows up in the shot, but it's like the cane that Paul's character will have to use. And I was like, stop it. That's
the Lion King moment right there.
Yes.
I knew they couldn't, but I so wanted them to play it.
I know, you can't. Oh my God. So, I absolutely love it.
Look at Susie there. I love it. It's all
the best. I give Andrew so much credit, because they gave him that cape. Like the other two didn't have a cape. Andrew had this short cape. Yeah. And the first thing he does is like the most magnificent cape work when the lights don't work and he has to come out. Oh my God. Thank you, Andrew, it was just like, okay. And just like, oh.
When Paul and Andrew were on the show, they actually talked about the fact that Tyler would not take his hat off. He loved that hat so much, he would not take it off. And it just stayed on for an eternity.
Can I? So my favorite part of this, really quickly, is, and again, I think it's a testament to a lot of the choices they made in the movie. Everything that was silly felt real. Still, was that this should not have won by far. And I was like, this is going to be dumb if they're like, oh, isn't this so nice? Blah blah blah. But no, they were like, clearly Mark Leclerc is the winner.
Yeah, that's what they say. They're like,
because it was terrible. They did a bad job. The lights were nearly like not even close to being as good. They built a stable, but that was it, and then put some things over.
Yeah, and the lights.
I was happy they.
No,
I was happy they did that. I was happy.
Yeah, that was really great, and I love when Mark Leclerc's like, I mean, it was good, but.
I got shotguns some beers if you guys want to.
But like the fact that he's like, but your acting work was confusing. Like, it was.
Well, and I think that's important too, because before they did lose, Stefan steps up and he takes the moment, and the moment is nonsensical and
it's terrible.
And then their mom shows up. She shows back up, and she basically all of what they've done. She starts singing Silent Night. Everyone starts singing. It's very Elf. It reminds me.
Yes,
so much
it was very Elf.
Very
oh
Elf.
My god.
And this is her seeing her boys have risen to the occasion the way she knew that they could, and here they are. So everything is going to work out, especially for Mark on the cruise. So and then Sophie shows up.
Did anyone else listen? Okay, I'm not a mom. I never want to be one.
Yeah.
But what I thought was so funny in this moment was they're just like doing things, and she's like, "My baby," and just grabs it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your baby, I guess you would just grab it because it's your baby.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you be like, "That's my baby. I'm its mother. I was the one that left it. May I have my baby back?"
May I have my baby, please? Yeah. For baby.
This felt like maybe they got a little overzealous and wanted a 3-hour like movie.
Yeah.
And at some point Hallmark was like, you got an hour and
we're not wedding bailing.
One
movie. Those sister swaps. Let's just do
so it was a little bit, but at that point it was so much fun and it didn't matter.
I just wasn't sure if mothers would just grab their baby.
It was a little it came a little out of nowhere.
I did think it was nice though, because it's not so far removed. She knew Luke because Luke was the first responder when she went to labor, and he connects it almost immediately. I mean, it's out of, which is awesome too, and a credit to Paul Campbell's writing and Kimberly Sustad's writing and Terry Ingram's directing and Andrew Walker Drew. I was going to say my buddy Drew. His acting that does not know. It's kind of like, well, who's this woman stealing the bit? And then it's like it connects. He's like, Sophie, and he realizes who she is. And that sad moment of we have
to give this baby back.
Yeah, this is not our baby. We don't keep this baby. This baby, we did what we did to help this single mother out. And I love that too. It's a celebration of single mothers. And like this woman needed help. She found help. These guys needed help. They found help. It all worked out. And then the kind of the postscript to it is Taylor goes back to the video game and helps them. He gets his job back. He does say thank you, Kevin, at one point.
He does.
I want to isolate that and just.
He says thank you, Kevin, because Kevin says a snarky comment. That's why he says.
He still says thank you, Kevin. I want to isolate it so I feel good about myself. And then Luke goes back to Sophie to give this first ornament of Thomas to her, because again, he feels this isn't ours. This is hers. This is theirs.
Yeah.
But good old Hallmark does a sweet old 1 year later. Play the clip, Mike. We don't have a clip.
Okay.
I was like, what?
You also
we have a hug. We have a picture. Yeah.
That's one sex. There's Kimberly there too. Yeah.
But we also don't forget Stefan and Funny Lady got together too, which was really cute. Yeah.
Funny Lady.
So and in the year later,
funny girl.
They are all together.
They're all together.
Fiona and Taylor are back together, or whether they're together romantically, they're physically together.
Yeah,
Susie is together, Stefan, and Sophie is there with Thomas, who's much older.
And Mark Leclerc is there.
And Mark Leclerc is here, back from his cruise. Looks great.
Yeah. I feel like they should have had like a lay and him all like tan or something.
Like he just got. It was a year-long cruise, man. Hey man, you should have.
This was my one tweet of the night. You thought it was just Chris and Kevin battling back and forth, but it was me who said Mark Leclerc goes on vacation, leaves his daughter home alone.
That was you.
And has to call the brothers, and now we have three wise men.
I thought that was Kevin.
Lady.
Good one tweet of the night.
That's my one tweet of the night.
Tweet.
So good.
Wow.
Obviously, this is a thumbs up.
So many.
Yeah.
We spun the wheel tonight and we got 115 minutes. No, I don't know. An hour and 15 minutes.
Well, Mike, we got slightly more than that because we also have to do a little something called Hallmark Holiday Hunk Objectification.
Yeah. It's time for Hallmark Holiday Hunks Objectification. H3O. That's right. The singing is back, everybody.
I missed that so much.
We've needed it because we both tried doing it. We are not as sultry as you.
No, not at all.
Should we do it? Wait. So quickly, are we doing? So yeah, we have 4 minutes. I would say.
Sure.
Do you want to do reviews for the movie first, or should we hunk some people?
Your call. I mean, I think as far as the review, I think we're all
thumbs up 100%. Let's do it, everybody. We're gonna put us small and make these guys big for this one.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we had them do themselves. Kevin and I technically already rated them, but now we know their characters.
Yeah, I'm not character. Yeah,
I'm not changing mine. They're all an 11.
Wait, we're going one at a time, Chris.
This character had much more of an arc than I expected it to. The way that it was presented to us, the way Andrew and Paul were talking about it, I really loved the depth of what he went through and was probably in maybe the most pain. And I really dug it, man. So yeah, I'll throw up a 10. Throw up a 10 for my boy.
Ooh, 10. All right. So we have an 11 and a 10 there. All right. Next up is, listen.
I don't have anything else to say besides infinity.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go with the Kevin vote, and Kevin says nobody likes you. He gets a 3. I'm staying with the 3.
Whoa!
Andrew Walker and Paul Campbell also gave him. Go watch our interview.
Wow.
That's not cool.
Wow. This guy's a 10. Come on, he's a 10.
Yeah, the 10's all around. I'm going to give the 2-button out of 4 sweater, though, a 5.5. He overused it. Okay.
Yeah.
He knew he looked good in that. So I'm jealous of the sweater is what it is. I'm just upset with the sweater because we all want to be the sweater. Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. So the sweater I'm annoyed with, but otherwise looks great. And then this adorable man too showed up. Come on.
Like that is not like you.
Listen, I'll jump the gun. I'll jump out in front. I'm going to give him an 11. And my reasoning is he's a work in progress. He's not even done. And you can tell that. And this guy, like Paul Campbell played this character.
Yeah.
And he was wildly different than any character he's played. This one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11. I mean, look at that pea coat. Look at the little dapper blazer.
Yeah, so we broke it. You all broke it for us. Tyler, Paul.
Yeah.
Andrew, you broke it. You broke the game.
Broke it.
You broke the game.
Thanks,
perfect
guys.
score. Perfect score all around. I think 10.5 was like the average, which is already, ridiculous. 10 to 11.
God,
10 to 11's all
brilliant.
around. 10 to 11's all around. That's
I'm
it.
also gonna give Mark Leclerc a 10. So.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Hamilton. I love him. Again, my man needs to be a lead.
Can you believe we're back together? Look at us. Look at us. Look at us.
Ironically enough, in the very next episode that comes out, we're not together again. Mike, come on, watch all these movies. Why should we have to suffer through each of them?
Whoa. No, you enjoy all of them. I will be joining for the rest of the season. I'm going to go commit to the 8 p.m. Saturday movie, unless I'm otherwise advised by Chris and Kevin. So we'll pick a movie each week for us to go a little longer on with me and live, and then Kevin and Chris will be your regular hosts with the wheel for the other ones.
Woo!
No offense to the other ones, but
if you want to see a specific movie that we review with Mike, we can also put our thumbs on the scale a little bit. Offline, I'm going to talk about one that I think that Mike should watch. But You can follow us at Remark the Show. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. I believe as of the start of this, Twitter was still a thing that existed. So we are still there. You can email us as well at remarktheshow@gmail.com. You can see Kristin at
Comedy
where
Sports Philadelphia in Hallmarkable, and also Chris and Cats on the Instagrams. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, plug
Ducky.
ourselves. Hit me up. Yeah, it's my dog. You can find me at Your Hero Kevin at all of the places. Michael, how about yourself?
Oh, I'm at Mike G Does Things on the social medias, and I'm doing a lot of things at Fan Expo Comic Con, where you might see Kevin and Chris at Fan Expo Philadelphia in 2023.
I hope
And
so.
maybe another show if they force me to. So yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
Hey, y'all,
Awesome.
should we do the dance? Should we all watch
Yeah.
and try to do the dance
Yeah,
together?
let's all
Here we
try
go,
and do
here
the
we go,
dance.
here we go, here we go. Okay.
I'll be Tyler.
I'm Paul, right?
You guys.
Okay. I think I'm lifting.
Oh, what's happening? What's happening?
It was like a Ryukin. It was a Ryukin in there. Ryukin.
Oh, that was a robot.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. That was it, everybody. Play the credits.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
I drank it all.